In this week's video, we performed 10 overhead squats, did a foam rolling of just the right side, and did static stretching bilaterally, making sure that we do focus on that right side following the foam rolling, and then did 10 overhead squats again to see kind of what those benefits were of the combination of foam rolling and static stretching compared to the isolated static stretching that happened just on the left side. Before going into those specifics, I do feel it is important to get into those predisposing factors that some people may go throughout a day. You know, in my instance, I started off with a workout early this morning that incorporated overhead squats, so I already felt tight from that throughout the day. Following that, I did have to transport an athlete to a doctor's appointment, which took a few hours because it wasn't exactly nearby. And then as soon as I got back on campus, I had to go out to practice for about 2 hours where it was about 25-degree weather. So not exactly the warmest weather in the world. So I do feel like I was a little bit extra tight this morning and throughout the day going into this movement, and kind of being able to really get a good idea of what the combination of foam rolling and static stretching may have compared to just static stretching alone on the left side. You know, and for me, I definitely felt tight overall with the first overhead squat set. You know, trunk was on a forward lean. I didn't feel like I wanted to keep my heels down, and everything was just tight. I didn't want to get into that depth of about 90 degrees or below because my hips just didn't feel like they were opened up at that point. And then following the foam rolling itself, I immediately felt better. I felt looser. There wasn't as much tightness on that right side compared to the left side. And then when going through the static stretching bilaterally, I felt overall a lot better when it came to the legs and the upper body, especially as it loosened up my latissimus dorsi and my thoracic spine, as well as my pectoralis major. You know, going through the second set after all the mobility work, I felt the difference overall. Everything felt a lot looser and a lot better, and it was a lot easier to go through that movement. But I did see a bigger difference on my right side, especially in the ability to keep my heels down after stretching the calf complex with the gastroc and soleus, as well as being able to keep my upright position after loosening my latissimus dorsi, my thoracic spine, as well as my pec major muscles, to really kind of give me a better posture and position as I went down into that squat. And the biggest area that I felt with my lower body was definitely my adductor. You know, especially on that inside, I felt looser. I didn't feel like it was as tight, and that my knees wanted to crash in as much as they were prior to it. You know, and as tight as those adductors get, just in general, overall, throughout your day, and the weakness compared with your glutes in most people, you know, your knees automatically want to get into that valgus inward position. So being able to loosen that up really felt a lot better. Being able to keep my knees out with my feet. And I overall just felt better in general, but definitely that combination of foam rolling and static stretching made a huge difference, you know, for me as compared to my left side with just the static stretching. So it's definitely one of those things that, you know, if I was going to do one or the other, I would definitely do that combination because I felt that much more of a difference as I went into that movement. And it's a movement that I utilize for my athletes all the time to look at their overall flexibility. And, you know, being able to isolate those areas out is huge for me. So being able to utilize maybe that static stretching and foam rolling for these athletes to, you know, be able to get into that position better and really loosen up compared to just static stretching alone, I think it's going to go a long way as far as mobility work and the movements that they have to do on and off the field, but as well as just overall flexibility and health that they're going to need throughout their day and their playing career as they continue and go forward.